Hey guys, welcome back to the shop. It's been a little while since we've had one of these traditional type of SNS videos, but I'm back. We're back here in the shop and I'm getting ready to start back on some fresh projects here. Got quite a few that I've had in here that I need to get started on. So that's what we're getting geared up for. I've been back for a few days. I've been just trying to get the shop cleaned up, get it swept up, get all the chips up off the floor and put all the tools away, just kind of get a nice fresh start here. Because whenever I left, I had finished up quite a few projects, so I had stuff everywhere, stuff all over the welding table in there, and just really kind of enjoying listening to some music out here and getting things cleaned up and start figuring out this next round of projects that we're getting ready to start on. But you know, we took some time off. A lot of you probably know that. We traveled up there and spent some time up in Colorado and Utah. Had a fantastic time. Such beautiful areas of the country. I absolutely love it out there. But it is good to be back here in the shop, and I'm ready to start making some chips again and start building some things and working on some projects, maybe doing some restorations up pretty soon. So good to be back here. But you know, I share all those adventures over on the A-Bomb Adventure YouTube channel. So just in case you weren't aware of that, we have a lot of new subscribers. We have the second channel there where I share our travels and all the things that we do outside the shop over there on the Adventure channel. So check that out if that's something that interests you. But as for today, what I want to start on is I've got a new tool or a new machine. It could be a tool and a machine, I guess you could consider it, but we've got a new tool in the shop. It arrived whenever we were gone, so I haven't even unboxed it yet. So I actually want to open it up and share with you guys what this is and talk about it. I want to get it set up and I actually want to test it out for the first time. So that's what I would like to do in today's SNS. I've been really excited about this. It's a product that I've been kind of looking at for the last 2-3 years, but actually longer than that. But I actually started looking at them and trying to figure out which one I wanted here for the shop, and you know, and waiting for the right opportunity to pull the trigger on that and actually get one coming. So I made that order, you know, a few months back, and then they built them, and it finally showed up whenever we were gone. So we're going to get to that here in just a minute. I also wanted to make a mention about someone that has been in my life for a long time, somebody that you might know by their voice. So a lot of you guys know I used to work for Motion Industries, and it was a great place to work, great shop. I loved the machines there. And my shop boss there, his name was Paul. A lot of you guys probably heard him in some of the videos when I used to film there at Motion. He was in the hydraulic video here in the shop a long time ago. Just the best shop boss you could ever ask for. The most enthusiastic and upbeat, positive person I have ever known, seriously. And I regret to inform you that he passed away whenever we were gone up in Colorado, and I didn't get to attend the service because it was, you know, a couple days after that when it happened. But it was a total shock and surprise to hear about that. He just retired in February, so he's only been retired, you know what, a half a year maybe. And I got word that he had a heart attack and they could not revive him from that. So I just because I respected Paul so much, he was such a good friend. He loved my dad. He used to come by the shop whenever I worked for Dad. He used to come by the shop a lot and just sit there and talk with Dad and talk with me. You know, just come by and visit, because he was, at that time, he was a salesman for Motion. And you know, and then those several years that he was you know, over the shop directing it, he was just a fantastic boss, and he's truly going to be missed. So I know that none of you, or there was a few of you that came by that actually got to meet Paul in person. But most of you probably know him by his voice. You know, you could hear him go by in some of the videos, you know, A-Bomb, A-Bomb, go by chanting, you know. But anyway, I just wanted to mention that because I just think that I should. He was such a great person and great friend, and he's truly going to be missed. So with saying that, let's go ahead and slide over to the welding department here, and we're going to get started unboxing that new machine. While we were away on our trip, we had Hurricane Sally come through the Gulf Coast area here near Pensacola. It actually, the eye wall Came on shore around Gulf Shores, which really isn't too far from here, about a half hour. So Pensacola really got hammered with the eastern eye wall of Hurricane Sally. So we had a lot of concerned followers and subscribers asking about how everything went here at our place. And I was very lucky to say that we had no extensive damage here at the house or on the shop. And so I want to just kind of give you a little update to show you the damage that I did get. And one is right there behind me. You can see the metal trim that just kind of covers up the fascia board on the side of the shop. It's still hanging right there. Very simple to fix that right there. So I've got to go get another piece of trim there and just get that nailed back up and cover that up. So that's the only thing that happened to the shop right there. No shingle damage, everything's fine. Really got lucky. No damage to the house, the garage building right here. But what did get the worst damage here at the house is the new privacy fence. So you might remember back in the summer I showed, got the new 8-foot privacy fence up, and you can see that it is it's kind of pushed over. So being on the eastern eye wall when Sally came on shore here, we got the winds blowing to the north. That's north that way. So those 100-mile-an-hour winds or whatever it was right here was blowing against the fence, and it's kind of pushed it over right there. All right, I'll give you a little closer look of it. So this is what I've got to work on, and I thought I would actually share my idea on maybe fixing it and see what you guys think without actually taking the whole fence apart. I want to see if I could possibly just straighten it back up again. All right, it's disconnected from that corner over there, so really all I got to do on that side's really not messed up at all. It's just a corner came loose from the corner post. So once we get this straightened up, I can attach that back there on that side right there. All right, so here are all the hot rodders there with their straight pipes. What I was thinking I could do is maybe pick up some come-alongs from Harbor Freight, just a little cheap cable come-alongs, and attach an eye bolt to where each one of the posts are up there, and then come back here in the yard and set some anchor points where the post would be, and actually use come-alongs and attach it to the fence where all the posts are, and slowly ratchet the fence back up straight. And at the same time, we can come up in here to where all the posts are at, like this guy right here. Just go ahead and maybe just dig all the dirt around where the posts are at, and you know, give it some relief there so we can kind of pull it back with the come-alongs. And then once we get it straight, go back in there and pour some more concrete around the post. That's kind of what I was thinking about doing right there. And then hold it there, let the concrete set, and then release it and see if it stays nice and straight. So that's what my idea was for maybe fixing that fence right there. I'm open to suggestions. If you guys have some better ideas, you know, I'm open to listening to it, but that's kind of the direction that I was going to be going with it, is using the come-alongs and maybe straightening it up. I don't want to have to take the whole fence apart, and I think it would be difficult to take each one of those panels off and actually reset the post in the exact same place, and then, you know, nailing the panels back up. So I was trying to go with the little bit simpler route. But let me know what you think, and if you think my idea might work there. So behind me on the welding table here, this is our new machine. I'm getting ready to get unboxed and put it together. So we're about to jump on that, and I'm going to show you that. Before we get started, I thought I would go ahead and give you a couple updates to what we're going to be starting on very soon after we get to our new machine right here. So we've got this steel plate, and I showed this quite a while back. This is a steel plate that I bought, had it burned out. This is going to be a fixture plate for the G&E shaper. So this is what I'm getting ready to start on. I want to get it cleaned up. We've got some, we got a couple hole patterns to machine in it. So we got some drilled and counterbore holes to put in it. We got to do some tapping. We'll use our flex arm machine to do the big tapped holes in that. And that is actually going to be for this guy right here. This is the Stoker engine that Uncle Keith Rucker has been restoring. And actually a lot of the guys in the community here have been contributing to this project. I've seen quite a few parts made from some of the other YouTubers that's been just kind of donating their time to the project here. But we've got these two channels down inside there that Keith and Lance used the Utiloid torch on and did some buildup in there. And what I'm going to be doing is setting this up on the shaper and using it to get in here and cut this back flat and hopefully back to spec there. And I did all the measuring before we ever sent it in, before I got it from Keith, to make sure that it was going to fit. I've got just enough height to be able to get this on the table and still be able to reach in here with the ram and reach down there with a tool and get that cut. So it's going to be a heck of a project getting that done, but I have just enough room to get in there and do that. So hopefully we can pull that off without any kind of catastrophes there. And I hope that the buildup that they put in there is going to hold, that it's actually float in there good. So we won't know until we start cutting it. So anyway, this is the project that's going to be coming up. We're going to start with the fixture plate first. Got to get that ready, and then we will get started on this engine case right here. I'm going to do some wire brushing and try to get it a little bit cleaned up before we start on that. So from there, let's go ahead and start getting our new tool unboxed so I can tell you what we got here. Man, I'm excited to get this thing out of the box and check it out. We got two components. This piece right here just boxed separate, but it's going to go with it. We're going to move it off out of the way. So this search kind of started back probably before FabTech 2018. But whenever I was there at FabTech, I was really trying to, one of the things that I wanted to look for was a welding positioner. And there was a few there, but I was actually really disappointed in how many welding positioners was actually on display there. There was just a few. And it seemed like they were either very small or they were the great big ones, big floor models. So they make welding positioners for different size needs there, for whatever size work. So after I had visited the show, I started doing a little research and figuring out the different brands out there that were available in welding positioner, and just wasn't ready to buy any of them there. I just wasn't sure if I was going to make the right decision. I'm sure they would have been fine, but anyway, I was talking to my friend Roy Crumryan, Crummy Welding. Look him up on Instagram. Great guy. He's on the Welding Tips and Trips podcast. And he told me about this brand that I wasn't aware of called AC Precision. And he says, yeah, they make their own welding positioners. So I looked them up and I started checking them out and found out that they're actually built in the USA. They actually design them and build them in USA up in Wisconsin. And so I started, just kind of researching it and then comparing there. So I ended up talking to the guys at AC Precision and told them what I was wanting and what I was looking for. And what did I ended up landing on was the WP25 variable speed, and that's what is in this right here. It is a welding positioner for the shop with a 2.5-inch pass-through hole that's got a variable speed foot pedal, and it's also got a purge adapter. That was a couple of extra accessories. I wanted to just kind of go full on if I get this and not have any regrets on not having one of the other accessories for it. So WP25 VS is what we got here, and let's go ahead and start opening it up and see what this baby looks like. So the box over here that I haven't opened yet, this is going to be the 3-jaw chuck. So they actually offer two different models of these welding positioners here. Like I said, I've got the WP25, and then the other one, which I cannot remember, I got my little note right here. They actually have another one, the WP12, and it has a smaller pass-through hole. I want to say a 2-inch pass-through hole. Okay, and I wanted to just have as maximum capacity as I could. Like I said, whenever I decided to pull the plug on this, I just wanted to have the best setup that I could for the amount of money that was going into this. And I will talk about cost for these units here in a bit once we get it unboxed, so you guys will know what these things cost and how much the accessories are. First time I am seeing it right here. There we go, there's the top of it. I might have to do some unpackaging and get some of this stuff out of the way so I can show it to you. Looks like they got it packaged in there nice. All that plastic was all around it, so we don't have any damage to the box here, so it looks like it did pretty good. Looks like they've got this piece of foam around the controller box there, so none of the switches got messed up. That did its job there. Very cool. Okay, so let me go ahead and let's just cut this box open and get it up. I ain't gonna try to pick that thing up out of there. We're just gonna cut the box open here. We can see it. It's actually a little bit bigger in person than what I had imagined it, because when you're just looking at the pictures on their website, it's hard to tell the scale of it there. But that is nice. So we got our faceplate right here, and as I said, we've got a chuck for it too. That's going to be another box. They just said they box it separate there. So we've got a 3-jaw chuck that we're going to bolt on to the top of it. You can tilt it. So we've got a handle right here, and there's a screw so that you can manually position this in whatever position that you want. All right, so everything's looking good. I'm just making sure that it wasn't damaged. The switches here, looks like it's fine. I believe we got a rheostat for it, forward, backward, yep, and then on and off right there. Variable speed pedal is going to be, they've got it kind of positioned up in there. So let's go ahead and start carefully pulling this stuff out of here. There's our foot pedal right here. Plug. All right, there's our instructions for it right there. Owner's manual, instructions, warranty. There's a pin right here. This is going to be for the tilt. I believe certain positions you can put this lock in there and lock it in place, keep it off the screw. Here's you a little bit closer look at it. You can see we got our Made in USA sticker on it right there. So there's our control box with the variable speed. This is the variable speed foot pedal, so I optioned mine with the variable speed. You can also get one that has just a momentary switch pedal, so just on and off, but this one you can actually control the speed of there. All right, you can rotate it 90 degrees, just spin it around so you guys can see it a little bit better. I already got the lock handle in there, and just pull that out, and you got different positions. They got a drill bushing right here, and you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 different positions that you can actually lock the pin in there. All right, we've got a tag there with the model number, serial number, and then the date of manufacture. So built in August of this year, 8/2020. All right, very cool. Proudly made in USA. Get that back in there. All right, so let's go ahead and let's look at the chuck now. So as I said, this unit is fabbed in USA. They design it, they fabricate it, they build it, they paint it, they put it all together. All of the components that they put on this machine are industry standard components, so off-the-shelf components, the stuff that is available. If one of these things break or mess up or need to be replaced, they can replace that stuff. It's not going to be hard to find parts. And I'll show you, I've got all the documents that came with the unit right here. It's got papers for every component on this thing. Okay? So, with the exception of that, it's going to be the chuck here, and I made sure that we knew that the chuck was not made in USA. This is one that they it's of Asian import, I believe, so the chuck is not made in USA. I doubt people would probably want to pay for one if you bought one that had a made in USA chuck on it, seriously. It would be very expensive. So, looks like it's going to be a standard 3-jaw chuck. All right, so just a standard looking 3-jaw chuck, one that you would use on a lathe right there. And then they've also got this nice adapter plate that they have machined and bolted to it. So this is what's going to bolt down to the the surface of the positioner there. there. All right, looks like all the bolt holes lined up, and then they did supply the required bolts. It looks like they got 4 of them in there to get it bolted down to the faceplate. I did opt for one more accessory, and that's this guy right here. This is the purge adapter. So it's a simple aluminum plug that's machined with an O-ring to seal it, and you've got, looks like some pipe threads in there so that you can screw your argon line into, and this bumps into the bottom of the faceplate right here, and the O-ring will just kind of seal it in there, so you can bump that in there and do some back purging with that. So we'll go ahead and use our hand wheel and do our rotation as well. Works nice. Okay. All right, let's spin it around here again, and then you can see the back side and how it's built. So this is a Leeson right angle gearbox right there that they mount in there. This right here is going to be your ground location. Attach ground here. Do not over torque it. So our ground cable is going to go right there. All right. All right, so this model right here, again, this is the WP25 VS because we opted for the variable speed foot pedal, which is actually hardwired into the box there. All right, this model right here is $2,700. That is without the chuck. So the standard 3-jaw chuck, this guy right here that I opted for, is an additional $300. All right, and then they have one other option, which is actually called the speed wheel chuck. And it's a 3-jaw chuck as well, but it has a big fabricated steel ring that's mounted to it that you use to spin the chuck open and close. I didn't think that I needed that for my needs around here. I think for what I'm going to be using the thing for, I think this 3-jaw chuck mounted up here is going to be perfect for my needs. But the speed wheel, I think would be more suited for a fab shop or a production shop, or if somebody is using this thing a lot. If you're taking multiple pieces in and out of this thing, the speed chuck is definitely going to be the way to go, because you're going to increase your speed by just having a ring out here that you can twist real easy, versus having a chuck key like this right here. All right. So $2,700 plus $300 for this chuck option here, and then the purge adapter. This is another $100 right there. So all in all, this unit right here is $3,100, just like you see. Okay, they do have the one smaller model, which is the WP12. I believe it's a 2-inch pass-through hole, and it is $2,150. And then if you want the variable speed, it's 24. Okay, plus the chuck option there. All right, so like I said, a few $100 more. I just went ahead and went for the 2.5-inch pass-through hole, so to have more capacity there, and the standard 3-jaw chuck. So I'm going to go ahead and get this thing bolted on there now, and then we'll plug it in and actually see this thing in use. All right, we got her plugged in, so go ahead and fire it on. You got the light indicator forward. I think that's maybe brake. I don't know. That's like going to be center position. Forward, reverse, and you got your speed there. All right, so we got it on. Hit the foot pedal. It's moving. All right. Variable speed's working great. So you can just start off light to get it going. So what you'll do is you'll preset the rheostat here to whatever speed whatever max speed you want. So once you get it set to where you know you want the thing, you go ahead and push the pedal all the way down there. Just engage it to get it moving. Strike your arc and then push it down all the way, so you're not having to fluctuate this thing like you would normally, like a TIG torch. Just push it on down. And of course, if you just need to use it as a momentary on and off switch, just put it to max, push the pedal down. All right, I'm excited to see how this thing's going to work in use. So I'm going to finish getting it set up here. And by the way, they got the frame with holes in, and they suggest that you bolt this thing down to your table or whatever work surface this is going to be on. Bolt it down. For now, I'll just put some C-clamps on it and make sure that it's fine that way. And I'm going to get some material, and we're going to go ahead and start making some test welds with this thing, all right? Before I get started welding, I'm going to go ahead and give the chuck and the faceplate here a little spray down with this Weld-Aid nozzle clean, just like anti-spatter, what it is. Just try to protect the new tool and the chuck there for a little while. I'm getting too messed up. All right, we got a subject here we're gonna weld on. This is an old hydraulic cylinder rod that I had saved, and I wire brushed the threaded in here. This is where the piston goes. We'll just go ahead and build this up and use that to test out the machine here. Chuck, there it is. That's where that speed chuck comes in. If you have that, you're not using the chuck key right there. You've actually got a ring that's around it. You take it like a big hand wheel and just spin it to tighten it up there. All right, we've already got our ground clamp. Here's my ground clamp here, connected to the ground bracket on the back, and we are ready to go. I'm going to do some adjusting on the speed. I've got some low hydrogen rods here, and we'll use that, and we'll act like we're just going to build up this surface right here. Feels pretty good. I think we're going to start with that and see how it goes. A little bit fast. Try that right there. All right, so far the unit's working great. Just got to dial in the speed. I'm actually burning them in pretty hot right there, but I'll keep making some passes on there and get a little more familiar with it. I've just been going round and around this thing. It's not pretty at all. I'm not worried about how it looks or how uniform the beads are. I'm just kind of getting familiar with the machine, and it's doing exactly what it's supposed to do. Make your job a little easier when you want to weld around something. So this would be excellent for any kind of build-up work that we want to do. If we want to go around the part, or stand it upright and go around the face of something. So I like it. It's working out really good. All right, guys, there's my ugly test welds there. Nothing to brag about, boast about, or show off in any way, but just running some beads just to test the machine and the functionality of it and how it was going to operate and how it was going to work. I think it does a good job, and I think I'm going to be happy with it, and it's going to continue to provide probably many years of good service for me. I love that it's made in USA. That was one of the reasons why I wanted to go with AC Precision, is because it is a made in USA item, with the exception of the chuck. I already admitted that we know that this is an Asian import. They told me that. All of the parts on it, like the control box here, the motor, the gearbox, probably this hand wheel, you know, this is all commercially available parts, and that's one of the things that they wanted to make sure that I knew as well, is that if something on here breaks or fails, this is stuff that's easily replaceable because it's available. It's industry standard parts that they have, that they put into this unit. Some of these pieces and components may be of global origins. I don't know. I didn't really get into that, but the unit itself, especially the frame and the body and all this, is all fabbed and built right up there in their plant. They build them themselves, and I think they do a good job of it. So I am real happy to finally have one of these in the shop. Look forward to being able to use it. There's been so many times in my career that I could have used this in the shop and just didn't have one, but now we do. And I'm very thankful for it, that I could put one of these here in the shop. So if you're interested in one of these units yourself, they've got a website, acprecision.com. They got a phone number there on their website. You can give them a call, and they will certainly talk to you about your needs. I even think that they will talk to people if you need a custom application as well. They will custom design something for a specific application out there in industry. But this right here is just a unit that they build that anybody can get their hands on and put it right to work. Plug it in and go. So I think that's going to be about it. I do have a job coming up where we're going to put this to use and do a simple little weld around something, some aluminum welding, and I'll bring you guys back whenever we get to that job. But hopefully you enjoyed this week's video, and we'll see you next week, all right? It's certainly hot and smells delicious. That looks good, doesn't it?
Looks awesome.
I like that skin, got that crust on it. Nice and juicy down there. I think we have a winner.
Winner,
See how hot it is?
Chicken dinner.
Winner, chicken dinner. Time to eat.